everybody, it's Hannah from Mother Goose's Makery, and I am here to show you how to make the Homely Hugs gift box die set from Tonic Studios. I know it sold out really quickly the other week, but it will be coming back in stock at some point. So either you were lucky enough to get it then, or you'll be lucky enough to get it in the future. Either way, here's going to be a little demo to show you how to make it, because it's got a really cool mechanism. There's some cantilevering going on. There's some really cute adornments in the parcel, in the die set. So you can see here, it's a super simple, very small die set. This is the base, bit of the roof, a hinge. Could not think what the word for hinge was. Roof panel, rooftop, roof side, a bit of the house, side of the box, and then there's a load of little adornments in there. And the idea I had was it was crying out to be a gingerbread house. It might be that I Christmas in July too hard and I've got Christmas on the brain, but I just thought, make that out of craft card, stick a load of puffy snow on it, a little gingerbread men, and Nouveau drop the hell out of some red ornaments, and it will be wondrous. So that is what I'm going to do. So if you open it up as per usual, it has your little cutting guide there. So we have our cut guide, 4 side panels, 5 square panels, 10 roof tiles, 2 roofs. You have eyes, you can read it. So as per usual, we have our cutting guide. So just follow this, cut out all the pieces. It doesn't include any decoration. It's just the main body. What I'll do, I'll move this out of the way and I'll show you what we do. Right. So you start off with 2 of your side panels. And just super simple, cut out. And what I'll do, I'll move that out of the way. We're going to need to cut some holes in for our cantilever mechanism. And this is the die that does that. So it cuts out holes at an angle. But in order to make sure they're in the right space, Toby, when he designed this, very cleverly put notches in so you can line it up perfectly. So you get your side, you put this around it so it fits perfectly, and then you can see you have notches in either side. So you would line that up so it fits in the notch, tape that down, remove this so that's perfectly in place, and then you'd run it through your die machine. Obviously, it's not recommended to put the 2 through in case you cross the streams and then things start getting damaged. But so you do one that way. And then in order to make the mechanism work, we need to have one facing the other way. So instead of being top left, bottom right, you would go top right, bottom left. So pop that in the top right notch, that in the bottom left notches. Tape that down. Pop this off. This goes through the die machine. And comes back like that. So there you have your 2 sides. So that's your sides done. And then you'll also have 2 plain sides that will cover the inner workings, as it were. Right, so first thing we're going to need to do is make a box. Now there are 2 boxes that are identical and they make up the thing. So that is your box. And your box is made out of 2 bases and 4 sides. So I'm just going to show you how to put together my second of the 2, because you don't see me to make 2 boxes. So I'm going to start off. This is my die cut. This is the top side. I'm going to get my Nouveau glue. slide along there. And what I'm just going to do is pop that along the edge so that the crease that I've burnished matches that line there. It stands up perfectly. And then we're just going to work our way around. It's a really simple box system to put together. No matter how difficult, I can make stuff look. And then we're just going to pop the glue on the tab and attach the two sides. And just keep that where it needs to be. Just going to stick a little clip on it, because I like my die cuts to stay where they should. Right. So again, third side. Put it on, bend it down. Make sure that the corners are in the corner. Then just pop a bit of glue on the side tab. I have to say, I do like craft card way too much. I love craft card and rainbow things when I'm crafting. I don't know what it is about craft card. It might kind of a bit utilitarian, but it's also just, and it's great for gingerbread men. And there are a few things I love Christmas wise than a gingerbread man. I love a gingy. Just clip that in place so it can hold. You've got to be mindful of the fact that craft card will just absorb your glue as something chronic, so you may need more glue than you would need in a normal card-based situation. It's a thirsty girl. Right, so pop that on. Just going to pop a bit more glue on there, because that appears to have just all been absorbed and not actually stuck it, which is not what we are aiming for. Right, so just hold that. And we'll just talk amongst ourselves for a second whilst we do that. Now that the side's stuck, just run my finger down the inside, make sure that's firmly pressed down. And then what we're going to do, get that off, just to secure it on the bottom. Hide the untidiness, strengthen the base, pop some more glue on and stick your additional base die cut on there. So it's going to have a double base. And I'm proud of myself for not making any jokes about musical instruments. See, I'm maturing as a person. Well done me. So now we have 2 boxes. So the next thing we're going to have to do is attach our 2 boxes together. And this is where our mechanism comes into play. So we're going to need our 2 plain sides, our 2 little Swiss cheese holy sides. We have 4 circle panels, which are the circular die in the die set, like this. That one there. And the 4 little circles that cut out when we Swiss cheesed our sides, because they're just going to be a bit of filler, the lube as it were, to just keep it in place. So what's going to happen, we're going to glue, we're going to place these on the side, glue that in to be like a pivot. This one gets glued on top, which will pin that in place. It'll work, you'll see. Right, so I'm going to start off. It's hard to do it because I've got to do it so that you can see it, because obviously that's important when doing a demo. So it's hard to get stuff lined up without sticking a head over the top and thus blocking the camera. So what I'm going to do, that's queued up. We're just going to get our little circles and place them back where they came from. So we're reconstituting our sides. So this is how they looked before we mutilated them, okay? They are just going to need a moment to dry, because obviously you don't want them moving. What I might recommend doing, in fact what I would recommend doing, is securing that with a little red liner tape when you put it on, because that will just make sure that ain't going anywhere. And you could use like a little square of red liner tape in the middle and then some glue on the outside. As you can see, they're still where I left them, but just makes the whole thing seem a little bit more secure. I'm a big fan of a bit of red liner tape, although I am aware that obviously tapes can lose stickiness in the heat. So if I red liner tape, I also like to double up with a bit of glue, a bit of belt and braces, condoms and pill, or what have you. Right, so they were this way round, so top and bottom. Flip them over 180 degrees. And then this is the important thing. You must make sure you use the other die cut. If you use the one you've just used, you will come a cropper, because one half of your box will try to open to the right and one half will try to open to the left, and it just won't go anywhere. It'll just sit remaining shut. What I'll do, they're lined up. Let me just pop these back in. And they are on. What you can do, if you are afraid that you are going to do something incredibly stupid and use the wrong die cut, which I'll be honest, I'm sure people have done and will do, and I'm sure at one point I will make this and do exactly the same thing, but I have not done it today. So, or in fact at all, so yet. But right now, I'm good. What you can do is you can just be patient and wait for these to dry, and then you can secure your sides on by more glue. And you want to be very careful not to get any over onto the actual side. What we're just going to do is stick that on top. And obviously it's easier on the top one because you can stick your finger inside the box and weigh it down, and you can't really do that on the back one unless you do like some jiggery pokery with the side and stick your finger in. But you will now see this is hinged together. Okay? Now we're just going to flip that over to the other side. Get our original die cut. And if you need to, you can pop like little pencil T for the top tray and B for the bottom tray, so you don't get them mucked up, and L for the left side and B for the right side, and just rub it out later, and that way you won't make mistakes. It's all about making stuff easier for you as a crafter, and there's no shame in that. You can put notes on stuff and rub it out, or use those heat erasable pens. It's whatever makes this make easier for you. So, just going to sit that on top of that. It does feel a little fiddly to line up, because it's not. It's more. I think it would probably be easier if we were octopuses, because you feel like your hand needs to be in many different places at once. If you're kind of like, oh, I want my fingers to be inside, but I need to be gluing it, I need to be holding it in place, and it can get a bit much. So we're just going to stick that on there. And you'll see that this now opens. How cool is that? Or side view. Amazing. And what we need to do, in order that when you go like this, it doesn't start falling over, you just need a stopper. So what we have is we have the 5th base die cut, because these are square. We're going to glue that to this side so that when it gets to here, it will provide a stopper, and it won't go further than that, so it won't start tilting. It'll just sit firm. What we're going to do, make sure when you are sticking this on that you stick this at the side opposite the tops. So wherever your top, if your top one's here, stick it on the opposite side. depending on which way around it is. If your top one's here, do it on the opposite side. Because if you do it on the side your bits are, the mechanism won't work that way, and then your box is eternally shut. So the opposite side. And what you do is you just glue it to this top one. So no glue on the bottom. One. Similarly, in order for your mechanism to work, make sure when you glue the small circle on, that the glue is only going where the small circle is going, not on this die cut. And when you glue the top one on, make sure there is only glue on the top of the smaller circle. Because if you put glue on the back of the bigger circle and stick it, it will stick firmly to this, and then again, you won't have any movement. So it's all about giving the card the freedom to do what it needs to do. Right, so that's my good side of craft. We're just going to place this on. It's best if you pop that down. Use a burnishing tool. Use your finger, and there you'll see that's the back of your house just on the back. So when you open it, it then stands up. Okay? Cool. If you're worried that your cardstock isn't tough enough, you can always do a second layer just to give it a little bit more robustness. But I'm not worried about it because it's not going to be particularly heavy stuff in there. It's going to be some little sweeties. So that's absolutely fine as it is. So we'll just shut that up again. And then we're going to need to cover our mechanism. So what we're going to do, again, as I've said about the gluing, you have to be careful to avoid stuff. So this time we're going to glue all around the edge. But you don't want glue to go anywhere near the mechanism. So the rest of it can all be glued, but keep a wide berth. As you can see from my wonderful artistic glue drawing, you've got to keep a wide berth around the mechanism because we don't want to accidentally glue it down, because glue has a habit of spreading, and you know, that would be really awkward. So we're just going to pop that on top. Flip it over. And same again. So draw around your mechanisms with your glue. So we're going to keep a wide berth, and then we're going to go around the sides, up the other side, and the roof. And again, just pop that on. So you line up the curves, and you can press it down. And there you go. You can't see the mechanism anymore. So you can open it up. The mechanism still works because we glued around the mechanism, not over the top of it. The stopper stops. And then it just folds back into our little house. Perfect. Right. So now our little house needs a roof, because at the moment my sweeties are going to get wet if it rains. Okay, so now we're moving on to the roof. I'm not going to lie, I made a faux pas. I corrected the faux pas. explained and was very honest about the faux pas I had made. Finished building the roof and then realised that for some reason I wasn't actually recording, and so I'm now having to re-record that whole bit. So the roof, can you see on either side there are two very different angles? There's like a short steep angle and a much longer gradual slope. So when you're gluing together the roof, you need to place your two bits of roof correctly so that the short, sharp slope is in the middle on both sides. So you can see short, sharp, and the gradual ones are on the outside. This is so when you make the roof that the angle here matches up with the angle here, and the angle in the middle joins with the other one. I don't know if you can see that there. So it matches perfectly. So what you do is you lay down your hinge piece, apply glue to both sides of it, and then just lay these on top with the short, sharp angles in the middle and make sure they're even. And then we're going to take our roof pieces, our roof sides, and you just glue one to one flap and one to one flap so that when you put it together, it's going to make a roof. Seeing as I've had to take it apart to show you that. Oh, and then the second hinge I attach to one side so that it will be able to attach to the box and actually be a hinged roof. Okay? So whilst I'm here, what I might as well do is attach the shingles. And I'm just quickly laying them out to see exactly how I want them spaced. Because there are 5 rows of shingles for each side. And you're going to want them pretty evenly spaced. And then this, like, roof cap is going to go in the middle. Okay, that feels about right. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide them up as it were, and I'm going to apply glue all over this side. Now the first one, I'm going to make sure that the scallops are hanging off the edge of the roof. You don't want to see the roof edge. And then the next one's going to be up a bit. And the smooth side up. So, it would appear that my filming of putting this roof together is absolutely cursed. The first time it wasn't filming, the second time my phone ran out of storage and stopped recording. So, quick recap. I stuck on all the scallops, and then I just glued the other edge of this to the other side to make a triangular roof. And then glued it on the inside here so that it lifts up. And then when it shuts, you have a house. So you can lift that up, go like that. And you have a perfectly cantilevered little home gift box. So now it's time to decorate. So the first thing I've got is a little chimney, which comes in 2 pieces, and it's just a matter of glue all the bits together. So it's like that, and that's just going to sit on our roof. So I'm going to glue that bit, that little tab, and that little tab. And this little tab. glue that there. That's like part of a cube. And then similarly, we do that one. So they both kind of form half a cube. And then put the two together. So you have it's best to describe the angled folded bits at the bottom. And I'll just pop some glue on the very top. So what's going to happen is that top is going to stick under there. So you've got double side on the top. And then the two other flaps that were glued. I'll fold these up so you can see. Got one here. And then obviously one on the other side. So just give that a second for the glue to set. Might need a tiny bit more glue because, you know, craft card. I felt like a lot of the decorations in this kit were more aimed at a proper traditional little house. And as I'm doing a gingerbread house, I feel like mine's slightly more stylised. So what I've done is I've cut out 3 windows, 2 for the ground floor, 1 for the upper floor. A door, a couple of candy canes, a couple of sweets, and a couple of trees. What we're just going to do, pop the glue on here. Just decide where on your roof it's going to go. So you can see these just sit like this. And then what's best to do is get a knife or a pokey tool and just apply pressure to those just to make sure they are adhered, because it's quite hard. Obviously we're applying pressure on the inside of this flap. So these are the decorations I've done, and I've just done them in white because that's kind of traditionally the colour of icing. And then we have a couple of canes, a couple of trees, a couple of sweets. So we're just going, this is going to be our starting point. We just, excuse me. And then what I'm going to do afterwards, I'm going to go away and I'm going now I think to make it look more like it is a gingerbread house, it's gonna need a lot of icing So I'm going to go away and I'm going to have fun with some Nouveau drops and some puffy snow. And then I will show you the finished result. So those are my windows. And if you bear with, I will show you the finished gingerbread house. Okay, so the house has now been decorated. We've got little windows with, I don't know if you can see, but I've got Morning Dew Nouveau drop in to be like clear glass. The candy canes from Seasonal Adventures. I flip reversed one of them so that I have them matching. And some red and white Nouveau drops here. On the roof, we have a very festive looking red berry Nouveau drops, alternated with some confectionery ephemera I have from Chloe's Creative Cards. And then the same along the roof and on the back. And then on the side, this sweetie is from the mason jar, the Tonic mason jar set, as is that tree, I think. Or the trees from Seasonal Adventures. I was going to put a snowman and a picket fence on there because I have some small wooden picket fence, but I decided I needed to step away from it. But yeah, so that is our cute little gift box that opens up in a clever cantilever style and then magically shuts again. So that's that. But then I started having ideas. So I've made this. This is a box. It's the same as the house, but instead of having the pitched roof, it is flat. And the front, if I turn it like this, is magneted. See that wonderful clunk? And then this opens up like this, and this is with the vintage vignettes paper. So you can see it's nicely lined. We've got the floral papers on the side. And then what I've done is I've created a different roof, or lid, which just slots in and then magnetics shut. But I'm not done here because the actual plan is for this to be a box of 2 halves. So there is this box, and then there is also what will be this box, and it will open cantilever style, almost like, you know, those tiered sewing boxes or jewellery boxes with a lid. So what I've done, I've already made one box just to try out my idea and make sure it worked, because it could have failed miserably. I'll finish off this box so you can see how I've altered it, because I haven't used any dies that aren't in the Homely Hugs box set.